Why does the body refuse to burn stored fat? You train hard, eat clean, yet your body refuses to release stored fat. The scale stalls, the mirror barely changes, and frustration slowly builds each week. This plateau makes you question effort, discipline, and whether your metabolism is broken. In reality, your body is following biology, not ignoring your hard work. Stored body fat exists as emergency energy, not a preferred everyday fuel. Your body burns fat only when other fuel sources are unavailable. As long as energy keeps arriving, stored fat stays untouched. This is not stubbornness, it is a survival-based fuel priority system. Your metabolism always chooses the easiest available fuel first. Dietary carbohydrates are burned before anything else whenever they enter circulation. After carbs, stored glycogen inside muscles and liver gets used. Dietary fat is burned only after glucose and glycogen decline. Stored body fat is last in line for energy use. This sequence operates continuously, not as an on or off switch. Insulin controls whether stored fat can even be accessed. When insulin rises, fat cells receive a signal to lock energy away. Chronically high insulin keeps those fat stores sealed shut. Insulin resistance makes the signal louder but less effective. Your body hears insulin constantly, yet responds poorly to it. Fat remains stored even while you exercise intensely. This explains why exercise alone often fails for fat loss. Exercise increases energy demand only during the activity itself. Afterward, appetite often rises to replace what you burned. Without insulin control, your body refills energy instead of using fat. You burn calories temporarily, but not deeply stored body fat. Stress adds another powerful lock on fat burning. Stress signals danger to your nervous system and hormonal network. The body prepares for emergencies, not long-term fat reduction. Emergencies require quick glucose, not slow fat metabolism. Cortisol rises to mobilize glucose during perceived threats. Elevated cortisol also increases insulin levels indirectly. High cortisol tells the body to conserve energy aggressively. Fat burning slows when the body senses constant stress. Poor sleep amplifies cortisol and worsens insulin resistance. Cravings increase when stress hormones remain elevated chronically. Fat loss becomes extremely difficult under constant psychological pressure. Constant carbohydrate intake trains your body to expect glucose frequently. Over time, fat-burning pathways become inefficient and underused. When carbohydrates suddenly drop, hunger feels intense and urgent. This response reflects metabolic training, not personal weakness. Your body adapted to a glucose-first lifestyle through repetition. The liver acts as a central metabolic control center. Excess fructose overload burdens the liver's processing capacity. Fat accumulates inside liver cells over time. This buildup disrupts normal metabolic signaling pathways. Insulin resistance then spreads throughout the entire body. Fat-burning signals weaken as control systems break down. This is why willpower alone rarely solves fat loss. Hunger is driven by hormones, not character or morality. Cravings represent biological messages, not failures of discipline. Discipline cannot override insulin and cortisol indefinitely. Biology eventually wins any prolonged internal battle. To burn fat, the body needs a clear reason. Incoming energy must decrease for stored fat to matter. Insulin signals must calm before fat release begins. Stress signals must soften for metabolism to shift. Gentle, consistent movement increases energy demand safely. Fat burning responds better to safety than force. Reducing sugar intake is often the first effective step. Sugar rapidly spikes insulin and repeats that signal often. It also places heavy metabolic stress on the liver. Cutting sugar lowers insulin exposure relatively quickly. Access to stored fat may improve gradually afterward. Reducing total carbohydrates further lowers insulin frequency. Lower insulin allows fat-burning pathways to reactivate. This transition may feel uncomfortable during early adaptation. Consistency helps the body adjust more smoothly over time. Protein intake must be balanced carefully during fat loss. Excess protein can convert into glucose through metabolism. Very lean protein often increases hunger signals quickly. Including dietary fat improves satiety and hormonal stability. Dietary fat still requires balance to avoid excess intake. Appetite feedback helps guide appropriate energy consumption. Ketosis represents a state where fat becomes primary fuel, This does not mean uncontrolled overeating of fat. Ketosis is a regulated metabolic condition with low insulin. Fasting removes all incoming fuel from the system. Without incoming fuel, stored fat becomes necessary. Insulin levels drop sharply during fasting periods. Growth hormone rises to protect muscle tissue. Fat burning becomes unavoidable under these conditions. Intermittent fasting provides a practical entry point. Delaying breakfast reduces daily insulin exposure. Earlier dinners extend overnight fat-burning time. Eating windows gradually narrow with adaptation. Some people eventually tolerate one meal daily comfortably. Occasional longer fasts can deepen fat adaptation. Movement supports fat loss beyond structured workouts. Gentle daily movement increases energy use without stress. Walking efficiently uses fat as a primary fuel. Excess intense exercise may raise stress hormones unnecessarily. Balance matters more than intensity for sustainable fat loss. Stress regulation remains essential throughout the process. Sleep protects insulin sensitivity and appetite regulation. Calm environments reduce cortisol output significantly. Recovery allows fat release signals to strengthen. Fat loss improves as stress gradually decreases. Consistency creates metabolic momentum over time. Small changes stack into meaningful biological shifts. Your body responds to repeated signals of safety. Fat burning becomes easier as resistance declines. Plateaus often indicate incomplete signaling, not failure. No single strategy works equally for everyone. Genetics influence fuel preference and adaptation speed. Health history shapes how quickly metabolism responds. Patience protects long-term metabolic success. Health should always remain the primary goal. Fat loss works best when biology cooperates willingly. Fighting your body delays progress and increases stress. Listening to signals restores metabolic balance gradually. Stored fat releases when the body feels safe. Safety comes from stable hormones and consistent habits. This process rewards understanding rather than punishment. Sustainable fat loss builds slowly but lasts longer. Short-term extremes often undermine long-term results. Metabolism prefers predictable signals over chaotic effort. Calm consistency outperforms aggressive intensity over time. You do not need perfection to make progress. You need alignment between behavior and biology. Fat loss accelerates when signals finally match intentions. Respecting physiology reduces frustration and confusion. Progress feels easier once resistance mechanisms quiet down. This shift changes energy levels, mood, and appetite. The body becomes more flexible with fuel choices. Fat burning supports stable energy throughout the day. Hunger becomes calmer and more predictable. Cravings reduce as insulin control improves. Confidence grows when results follow understanding. Long-term success comes from sustainable systems. Systems work better than willpower alone. Education empowers better decisions around food and movement. Awareness transforms effort into effective action. Fat loss begins with knowledge, not punishment. Your body protects you even when progress feels slow. Working with biology creates lasting change. Stored fat serves a purpose until conditions change. Those conditions are created through patience and strategy. Fat loss begins when your body finally feels safe. If this helped, consider subscribing and sharing with others. Respect your biology, and progress will follow naturally.